Welcome again to our YouTube channel, The African Voice. This is your host, Albert Trukwaro. As usual, here we talk about African unity and how we can achieve it instead of just talking about it. So today, we're going to look at what is happening in Niger, the country in West Africa that is in turmoil. Recently, about a week ago, they had a coup and the democratically elected president was removed and an army commander took over. And that has just turned that whole place into chaos, especially because Niger is an important country in the world. Niger may not be rich, may not have all the facilities of a modern nation, but they have one thing: they have uranium. Uranium is important because uranium is the main ingredient used in the manufacture of nuclear weapons. And besides uranium, they have other minerals. And France has traditionally been the country that controls Niger. Everything that happens in Niger happens with the permission of France. And it looks like some people are tired of that arrangement and it's time to change. But now you look at it on the bigger continent-wide agenda that we have on this channel about African unity. Does that help us? Is that the way to go? How do we mitigate this and make sure it benefits not only the people of Niger but the rest of Africa? And the way I see it is the first reaction was the usual: send some ECOWAS forces. ECOWAS is the Economic Community of West Africa. It's basically led by Nigeria. Nigeria is the superpower over there. So it's their military that is supposed to go and fight the Niger military that has taken over. And you wonder, okay, how is that going to solve anything? I don't think it will. And who is sponsoring ECOWAS? Is ECOWAS a force that is working on behalf of France and against the people of Niger? And in that case, should even ECOWAS be involved? They're dealing with that. There's also the angle of Russia. It looks like Russia is pulling some muscle on that area, the Sahel region of Africa, where we've had turmoil now in Niger, in Chad, in Congo, in a few other countries around there. And it looks like there's a general discontent in French-speaking countries. They think it's time that they had a new arrangement with their former colonial master. And I agree with them. And as usual, as Africans, we see the problem. We don't exactly go at it in a methodical way. We just know we don't want France. And so we go fighting. And then after that, what happens? I think this is a good illustration of why we need an African Union that is strong, that is a government actually, a government that has power not only to tax, but to offer services and to do other things. A big government. And this Niger issue will end up just like any other coup. These guys who came in, they'll be there for a little bit. Someone will find a price. They'll be bought. They'll do what they have to do. It's not long when we saw Zimbabweans celebrating when Robert Mugabe, who had become such a dictator, was removed and his former deputy Mnangagwa was put in there by the military. Well, I don't think Zimbabweans are jumping up and down about Mnangagwa today, but it's the nature of how we are, who we are at this point in our democracy, in our development as a continent. It doesn't matter what you do. Even if you bring the best guy, he will still be coerced, he will be forced, he will be changed, he will eventually work for his own interest and the interest of those who pay him. And the rhetoric might be exciting. I've seen the young man, the young new president of Burkina Faso, Traore. He's talking the right talk, and he's probably walking the talk. But the question is, does he have the staying power? Does Burkina Faso as a country, have any chance against some of these world powers? I don't think so. So he will have to work with somebody. If he doesn't want to work with France, he'll have to work with America. If he doesn't have to work with America, he may have to work with Russia. Right now he's looking like he's more leaning towards Russia. It's the same thing. We're just gonna bring in a new guy who will do the same thing that the other guys have been doing. And there's no way out for all of us. The only way out is to unite, people. It's time we stopped beating about the bush and accept that we don't have any other choice. The choice is we get together, we colonize ourselves, you know. We have this big tent, Africa, with representatives from every nation in Africa. Serious representatives, people who are elected by the people to go to Addis Ababa to represent us. That entity should be able to tax us, okay? Because it's going to be now offering services, offering things like the military. It's going to be offering our defense. It's going to be working on the integration of of our economies. So there's a lot of work that has to go into that, and that needs funding. But if they remove foreign service, they remove immigration, they remove customs and border control, they remove all those things and take them with themselves, we can give up a little bit of the money that goes into paying that stuff right now. There's no point of having a border between Kenya and Tanzania or Benin and Mali. Why would we have that? Why would the governments that cannot even afford to build a school or take water to the villagers, why would it be manning an entire border, sending soldiers there? Those soldiers have to be paid. Those soldiers have to be fed. We don't need that. What we need is the border, the African border, all around, taken care of by our African government, not by an individual, small governments here and there that cannot fight anybody. So let's think about this. Look at it as a cautionary tale. What is happening in Niger? It's going to happen in many other countries. Senegal right now is also going through some turmoil, and that is coming from the grassroots, from the people. So we need to really think deep and hard about our children. This is not about us. Africa is such a huge continent, and the challenge of forming one government in Africa is so big that it looks almost impossible. But let me tell you the truth, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. We think it's impossible because of the size, but it's not impossible. The only challenge that I see, a big challenge, is maybe between the northern countries, the countries in Northern Africa and the countries in the Southern Africa, southern side of it, maybe. But beyond that, I don't see why we should not be able to combine our resources, combine ourselves into 54 different states under one federal government based in Addis Ababa. That government will be able to bring water to us, to be able to bring quality health care to us. It will have a currency that is strong enough to fight not only to fight other countries, not only to compete with other currencies, but it will be probably a currency that we can print unlimited amounts, as much as America prints its dollars. Yeah. Tell your country to try and print its little kwacha or Kenya shilling or naira, and the economy will just collapse. We cannot do that. So we live within our means, but our means are really constricted. We need that freedom. So as I said, we need to start getting this message to the grassroots, to the people at the grassroots. It has always been an item of discussion in elite circles, in intellectual circles. You know, sometimes a leader will come in and excite the masses here and there, but really deep down, people have never really thought. Down in the grassroots, in the villages, in the slums, in the towns, people have never really thought about how it can be done and what the benefits could be. And tomorrow we will examine some of the benefits that I see would come from this that we could use to send our message further and further deep down to the grassroots where the people are. Once the people are sensitized about it, we figure out a way to do a referendum and see whether the people like it. And if they like it, we go for it. Nobody is stopping us. You people, nobody is stopping us. It's our continent. We own that continent. God gave us that continent. We should be able to decide how to govern ourselves. So I leave you with a message that keep on talking about these things. Think through them. Don't despair because of the challenges that would be involved. You know, the number of countries, the number of tribes, the number of religions, who would lead. Don't worry. Those are things that just come, you know. But let's see the possibilities and talk about the possibilities and the potential benefits of combining all our nations into one big nation. It doesn't mean that you disband your nations. You still have them. They'll still be called what you want to call them. But some of the sovereignty that they have will have to be ceded to the government that will be based in Addis Ababa. Let's talk more about this. Let's encourage each other. And one of the ways you can help spread the message is by sharing this video and subscribing to this channel. I would really be appreciative if you just liked this video. And if you can, make your own video, write about it. But most importantly, talk about it with your friends, with your neighbors, at work. Let's see whether we can take this once in a lifetime chance when the West is in disarray to finally get ourselves out of the shackles of exploitation, out of the shackles of poverty that we have brought onto ourselves mostly, but which has been imposed to us through the world's economic systems that we have not had a say in their creation. So let's think about it, push it, talk about it, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much, and have a good night. Bye-bye.